Oh my God, this Utah Jazz coaching search is going to be unreal. So Marc Stein has said if Utah ends up interviewing more than 20 candidates for its coaching vacancy, no one in the coaching community will be surprised. Jazz CEO Danny Ainge loves intel and will surely amass plenty by the time Utah names its successor to Quin Snyder. Utah's only known candidates with NBA head coaching experience are Terry Stotts and Frank Vogel, but that list continues to grow every single day you look at it. Okay, because the initial candidates were like Johnny Bryant, Alex Jensen, Terry Stotts, Adrian Griffin, Will Hardy, but that list continues to grow because now there's Jerome Allen on there, who he's over from at Detroit. Jason Terry was added there, who's over in he's the head coach of the Grand Rapids Gold in the G League. Chris Quinn, an assistant for a long time for the Miami Heat, has been added to that list. Frank Vogel was added. Lamar Skeeter, who's currently a 33-year-old and began with the franchise in 2014. And, he served as team summer league coach in 2019. So basically, this guy's been with the team for 8 years since he's 25 years old, and he's an assistant coach. Kevin Young of the Phoenix Suns. Charles Lee of the Milwaukee Bucks, who also just got a new deal, and he's the head assistant coach there, so he's probably not leaving. Joe Mazzulla, who is an assistant coach under the Boston Celtics and is close with Danny Ainge. He worked his final 2 seasons in Boston with him. Sean Sweeney, a defensive-minded coach with the Dallas Mavericks, previously worked for the Pistons, Bucks, and Nets, and interviewed for the head coaching job. So right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who else we got? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like 14, 15 coaches they've interviewed. It's kind of crazy to think about because the Jazz are making progress. Their first round of interviews, which included a long and expansive list, has basically concluded, sources told The Athletic, and they spent all last week speaking to those candidates, and they expect to speak to a few more as this week comes along before narrowing down the list to potential finalists, sources told them. As I mentioned, all those guys that I previously mentioned, I'm not going to go through it again because that was a lot. I really can't. Okay, wait, I will do it. F it. Utah interviewed longtime NBA player and current G League coach Jason Terry on Saturday, my apology. Then the Jazz interviewed Milwaukee Bucks assistant coach Charles Lee on Friday. Lee was promoted assistant or associate head coach on Saturday by Milwaukee, but remains a candidate for the opening. Then there was also Alex Jensen and Lamar Skeeter, and key assistants on the outgoing head coaching staff of Quin Snyder. There was also Adrian Griffin, Johnny Bryant, who has a close relationship with Donovan Mitchell, Chris Quinn of the Heat, Terry Stotts, Jerome Allen, Kevin Young, and Will Hardy. And look, sources say they feel as if they're almost halfway through the process, but if Utah doesn't have a coach in place by Summer League, Alex Jensen is expected to lead the team in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas. The timing of the new hiring means something. If the Jazz make a hire the week before or of the NBA draft, which is less than 2 weeks away on June 23rd, they can structure the roster for next season with that coach in mind. But even if they don't have a coach by then, there's a chance Utah will be far enough down the road in their search to make educated decisions with few people in mind. Utah's pre-draft process has been thorough for a team that currently doesn't own a pick. The Jazz has held multiple workouts in an attempt to identify prospects for their Summer League team and ones that may fall through the cracks. And Utah also had a free agent minicamp, which Alize Johnson was a standout, and they plan to hold another one in the coming days. So a favorite for the head coaching vacancy hasn't separated themselves, though Jensen's a favorite of the players, as well as Johnny Bryant remains an obvious name to watch. The Jazz want to take the time and thoroughly vet everyone. It's also been a busy month, so it's just going to be a curious case to what ends up happening. It's anyone's game because, again, this is Danny Ainge. He's going to do what the hell he wants to do, which, I mean, if you're a Jazz fan, I don't know if it's what you necessarily wanted, but hey, don't be mad. Beggars can't be choosers, okay, is what I always say. And I hope everything works out for y'all, because for me, I've always thought this was a great team that were really just a piece away from everything being, ready, in my opinion. So that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think is going to happen, who should be head coach. Well, that's basically it. I just want to let you guys know this is going to be a long... We won't hear anything for another week or two, it looks like. So that'll be fun to find out what ends up happening. But because personally, I have no idea what will happen or who will be coach. I just think it's going to be someone that our man Donovan Mitchell is going to want. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have a lot more say than they'll admit, but this is, again, anybody's guess who will be the coach. I'm out of here. I'm done talking. I talked for way too long.